on the way to another data miner kata.
Hello and welcome to another Bringing the Thunder. That's right, we have a kata exercise right here, right now, just for you. And as you can see, I have no guest here with me because once again, we have one of our remote colleagues joining in. Always fun to get them online and get them to explain what they've been up to. And today, let's show my guest that he is. Either way, Renee, I think, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do here at Skyline?
Well, I've been with you 3 times already.
Yes,
I'm a
I know.
recurring
It's
guest.
it's for the people who are watching.
My name is Renee, and I work from the Miami office from beautiful Florida.
Beautiful
And
Florida.
Yes, absolutely. And what I do here is I work with a solutions team, and we deploy solutions on top of the data miner core across satellite, media, ICT, you name it. We do it all.
Yeah, you do it all. Cool, awesome. So you work a lot with solutions. So you're working a lot with data miners, a lot of different aspects of data miner. Really, I'm guessing puzzling all of those amazing modules we have, puzzling them together to make something really nice. So you've probably got one of those puzzle pieces that is commonly used to show us today, I'm guessing. So what's going to be the topic?
Today we are going to discuss enhanced services, and there is actually a tutorial that I will be using. If you head over to the data miner services and you go to the documentation under services tutorials, you will have 2 tutorials. The first one is a session that you already had, and I will be building on top of that one.
Okay.
The discussion will be around enhanced services. And enhanced services are a step above what data miner brings out of the box. Okay. In the previous session, we saw how we build the service and we configure it end to end. Today, we're going to add a layer on top of the out of the box service to make sure that all the managed components within a service become something above the service.
Okay, so literally what's in the name? Enhancing a service. So we've gotten the basic one, how to set that up by default in a previous kata, and we're building upon that to now enhance it and make something even more dedicated to whatever solution you are trying to create or puzzle together, if I got that right.
Absolutely. Yes.
Great. So how do you get started? Any prerequisites? Can everyone do it on a DOS setup, or do you need specific versions of data miner?
Yes. So everything should be working for data miner 10.5.4.
Okay.
And we will be using, for this session, I'm using data miner as a service. And in the tutorial, we are giving a link as to how to set up that environment.
Okay, great. Perfect. So, okay, that's the prerequisite. A lot of people have spun up DOS setups before, so should not be anything new. If you want to follow along, go ahead and do that. And then I guess we'll jump in. Anything else they have to deploy? Any packages or?
Yes. So we'll jump in right into the tutorial. And the first step is to deploy a data miner package, which is called providing a customer-centric system view. This was for those viewers that already follow that initial services tutorial. They should have it already in their system. If not, they can go ahead and deploy it to a data miner system. I already did that. I have it here deployed into my DAS system. But again, if you haven't deployed it, go ahead and do it now.
All right. Okay, well, a little wait animation here. No, I'm kidding. So deploy it now, and after that we have that basic setup again that we worked on previously. So how do we enhance it? What do we do?
Yes, absolutely. So the first step after you deploy the package, you will see this service structure here. You have manage objects, and then you have the services. And the second step we will be doing here is to create a new service and try to give it a little bit of life beyond what's out of the box. And I'm going to right click this BBC News service and duplicate it.
All right.
And we're going to call it enhance.
Okay, so we're leaving the original service, just making a copy of it so we can play around with that one instead. Nice.
That
Okay.
is correct. And I will be adding a little bit more data just so we can see more in action.
Okay.
For the first element, I'll be calling it site 1.
All right. You're
then-
giving it an alias. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah, to call it site 1. And then I'll bring this site 2 into the service as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll call it, you guessed it, site 2.
All right.
And
So
I am
that's-
going to select only some of the parameters within that element to be included in the service.
All right. So pretty much still configuring with the basic service, the things we saw on that previous kata, but it's never a bad idea to, rehash or re-look at a few things, refresh the memory, as it were. So we've got the default service setup now. Now comes the exciting part, I'm guessing. How do we
Absolutely.
enhance?
And if we browse through here, we see that the data that comes into the service
Mhm.
is the same data you already have in your managed objects. Okay.
Yes.
So a basic service gives you the ability of bringing different things together.
Yeah,
Now-
you're picking and matching from different things.
Absolutely. Now, in the next step, what you see is we have the ability to enhance the service with what we call a service connector.
Okay.
Now, a service connector is special within DataMiner, even though we use the same development techniques. If you go to protocols and templates, you will see that there is a special section here that says service protocols.
Yeah. So specific different type of protocols or of connectors protocols. Yeah.
Yes. And we actually provide templates in the catalog that you can download to get started with developing enhanced connectors for services. And we also put those details in the Kata tutorial. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
With that in mind, then we will move to actually edit this enhanced service, and we will select a service connector.
All right. So with the
This is
advanced
service tutorial.
drop down there, we can select one of those protocols. Cool.
Correct.
Okay.
Under advanced, which is rather hidden here,
Mhm.
expand it, and then you can select the protocol.
Perfect.
Nothing else to do there. You automatically see something else being created, and that is you see out of the box 4 new pages.
Yes.
And these 4 pages bring more data than you would normally get with the out of the box services.
Okay. And those come from that service protocol that we now added to it. So it's kind of like turning it a little bit into its own element almost. It's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You are stealing my thunder because that's exactly what happens. What happens? What
bringing
happens
the
there
thunder.
is-
I mean,
yes. What happens there is when you assign a connector to an existing service, it automatically turns into, for all intents and purposes, into an element. Okay.
okay.
And that's what we call an enhanced service.
Well,
For
now you're
example-
just repeating what I said here, and it's not original
Yes.
any now.
For example, this elements page
Mhm.
already shows you all the parameters within the service,
Right.
the elements, the service name, the service severity, many things that enhance your monitoring capabilities on top of the service. Because remember, when you create a service, it becomes an entity itself. And operators
Yeah.
many times want to simply monitor things about the service as a whole and not just the independent parts. And that's the objective here.
Okay.
Okay. So that's just to bring everybody back to it. We are now on step 3 of the tutorial. And then one of the things that we need to always remember is that because we're turning it into an element, all the good things about elements become available. And one of the things that become available, which is very nice, is the templates. You can start applying templates to the service itself.
Alarm and trending and okay.
Absolutely. At that point, you can now create your visuals, you can create your alarms, your trends, your information templates. And I'm just going to do a quick test just so that we see what that looks like. If we do, let's say we're going to enable monitor active alarms, which is a parameter within my service. I say apply, say yes, and make sure you include your enhanced service. And if we go back to the enhanced service, now we see an alarm.
Yes. On that
reload it real quick. So you see an alarm, and this is now an alarm coming from the service. If we toggle this, it goes green, and if you had anything impacting the service at that specific moment, you will see it showing here. Okay, so at this point, what you have is an alarm coming from the service itself, not just from the underlying elements. Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. So it's not from the content of what we picked to be included in the service. This is actually from the service entity itself generating an alarm. Can also do things like the trending I saw there, information templates. So yeah, pretty powerful already. So
yes, cool. Absolutely. Yes. And of course, don't forget you have the visuals. Many operators like to build their own visuals to see their service team, their status, and all that. So that also becomes available with enhancements. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. So that wraps it up for the easy part. I call it the Cube app part.
All right.
And the next is something that actually we got from our community. One of our users in the Data Miner Dojo community was asking, okay, how can we get data from services in dashboards? And that's what actually triggered this session. And that's what we're going to do. We are going to now show how to get data from services using the dashboards app.
Yeah. So that's the low-code apps and the dashboards, the web monitoring app that we have there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if we want to do that, the first thing we do is to add a new dashboard, because this is an empty system. We're gonna call it visualize service data. So make sure we have a descriptive name. We create it. Nothing happens. Now the first thing we do is we're gonna get data about normal regular services. And the easier way to do that here in Data Miner these days is to go to the queries down here on the panel.
Yeah.
And we are just going to say get standard service. And there is actually a query that comes out of the box. That's this one right here that says get services.
Immediately. Yeah.
Immediately you get the get services one. Then we just going to do select. And for this case, we're going to do name. And of course, we're going to do the alarm state.
Yeah, because we added that.
Yeah, just to make sure that we have something in there. If you get this query, you drag it into the dashboard, and then on the visualization, select the table, and that's very simple, right? That gives you already something that you could see. But of course, we have very advanced users. We have people that are gonna say, "Yeah, wait, but this is not enough." I mean,
this is basic, yeah. Give us something more, René. Give us something more.
Yes, and that's why we call this standard. Okay. Standard service data. Okay, because this is what you could get out of the standard services. Okay. Now, the next step is, okay, how can we get data from our enhanced services? I remember I was the one that mentioned that when you assign a connector to a service, it becomes an enhanced service.
Yeah, it was definitely you who said that. I mean,
what happens is at this point, you can actually use the tools that you already have in your Data Miner toolbox, in the queries toolbox, to get data, because at that point it becomes a regular element.
Okay.
I'm going to show that real quick.
Yeah. Okay. So you can get it through the queries again, but probably by retrieving it as an element. Okay.
Yes. And at that point, you can do something like get parameters for elements where you do protocol, And then, of course, you select, in this case, the enhanced service tutorial. And for my example, I'll be selecting the service element status table, the one that we saw already here. This is the table I'll be bringing into the dashboard.
Yeah, with the content of what's in there.
Correct. And I'm gonna do a select just to make sure that we have something in there. I'll do the alias, the element name, severity, maybe. We do some other stuff just to have something in there. And I'm gonna select this element ID because this is gonna come into place during the next step.
Okay.
And
the identifier there, yeah.
Correct. And I think that's about it. All right. That's about it. We're gonna do the same step. We're gonna drag the query into the dashboard.
Drag and drop.
Visualize as table, and voila. Okay. At that point, we are geniuses. We have a way. Now our community has a way to see service data into the web app, which is also very powerful. Okay.
Both the standard service data and from an enhanced service, which, as I mentioned in the very beginning, is an element entity if you make it an enhanced service, of course.
That is correct, sir. You are right. So what we have there, I'm just gonna call it, of course, enhance. Okay, enhance service data, just to make sure we know what it is. But again, we have very smart DevOps engineers out there, and they're gonna say, "Wait, but in my service, I have my element data." Okay, and I don't see that on my dashboard now. And that's why we're gonna go a step further. And
you're gonna get the element data from the child elements, almost, if you want to call them that, like the ones that are included in your service. It makes perfect sense.
That is correct. That is correct. Yes, because you do want to do that as well, huh? And at that point, again, what becomes important is, remember I said that the elements within the service are also included in that elements table, and that what that gives you is the name of the element, the ID of the element, and that gives you the way to drill down into any element in your system from a service perspective and bring any data, which is something very powerful.
Right. By selecting it, or by just saying everything in that table show up on my dashboard or things like that. Yeah, gives you that power.
Right. Yeah. So we'll do that real quick. We'll say get manage objects, just to make sure that we get something. And we're gonna say the same where protocol, in this case, the protocols running my manage objects is this one, the Philips IRD.
Yes.
And of course, I'm gonna do audio output level, which is the same we're bringing to the service. And I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna filter. And the filter I'm gonna apply in this case is the element ID of my manage object. So each one of my manage objects, which are giving me the output audio level, has an element ID. And because I have an enhanced service now, I have the ability to filter using that directly from the enhanced service. Okay.
Right. Yeah, you can filter directly from whatever is on that table, or Yes.
So I'm gonna do regex just to make sure we match the element ID to that of the underlying manage object. For the value, we are actually gonna do what we call a link to data.
Okay.
And I'm gonna call here my filter source is gonna be table 2, which is this table right here, enhanced service data. And the type, in this case, it's gonna be, of course, a table, because we're using a table to filter. The property is your element ID. Okay, the element ID that you have here. Every column that you brought into your table becomes now a filterable property. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and we're selecting that element ID there, and then going to use a regex to kind of filter on the right value.
Absolutely. And then you do link, and with that, you can just stop editing the query again, drag and drop into your dashboard, click the table visualization, and automatically you see the audio output level showing. And if you want to start clicking around, it will change based on when you select on the table.
Yeah, so it's linked to the selection of that table, and all of this is now based on that one service, the enhanced service that we made. So that's kind of like your root, your entry point, but you're just building a dashboard on top of that. That's amazing. Very powerful stuff.
It is very powerful. And again, that's the message I want to send today. You start with the regular components that we have. You create an enhanced service, you build it in any way you want, and then you use that as your central point to manage your entire operation from a service perspective instead of independent managed objects. And that's all I have for you today.
I mean, that's perfect. That's very, very, very good. Is there any point where you say, if they take a screenshot of this part or this place, then we can give them some DevOps points just to say, hey, thank you for following along. Thank you for doing it. I don't know if there's a specific place you think would fit, or
this will be perfect. This screen would do it.
Just the dashboard. There you go. The dashboard, and move it around a little bit. You've had other Katas guys play around with the layout a little bit, make it fun, make it happy. Send it in, and we'll give you your DevOps points. Perfect. Well, Rene, thank you very, very, very much for preparing this, for showing this to us. It's always nice to get another piece of the puzzle that can make these massively extensive and beautiful systems built upon Dataminer and everything we have to offer. Always excited to see this kind of stuff. So really, thank you very much. And if you have the intention of coming again, please do. You're always welcome for a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Keep coming, man.
Thank you.
Always great to see you. To everyone watching, if you are watching from YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that little bell so you're always aware of any new videos we bring out the moment we bring them out. And other than that, well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.